Isolation. Stay away from all the subway stations. Now's the time to limit your relations. This is info for your conservation and observation. I am at my home. I am all alone. I am at my home in isolation. Isolation. Time for practicing your masturbation. Sorry that you canceled your vacation. It's not just you, it's the whole entire nation. In isolation. I am at my home.
I'm at my home.
I am all alone.
I'm all alone.
I am at my home.
I'm at my home.
In isolation. My constipation in isolation has really helped my toilet paper situation. Should hold up depending on the duration that they keep us in isolation. I am at my home.
I'm at my home.
I am all alone.
I am all alone.
I am at my home.
I am still at my home.
I am in isolation.
In isolation.
Isolation, a conversation we should have with every single generation. The older people need a working vaccination. The younger people aren't afraid of decimation. I am at my home. I am all alone. I picked up the phone.
Hello.
And I said hello.
Hi.
Isolation breeds agitation. Unless you find a way to get some inspiration. Make a creation, film a claymation, or just eat chips and talk to friends while on PlayStation.
A little boy on the road. I said, hey man, you shouldn't be alone. I said, maybe you can give me a phone and then I can help you call home. You can't be more than 4'4", and I think it's about to get dark. He said, I'm 36 and I think I'm okay to walk through this park. And that's when I realized you should never judge a person by the size. And that's when I realized you should never guess an age with your eyes. And that's when I realized you should never judge a person by the size. And that's when I realized you should never judge an age, never judge an age with your eyes. Never judge an age, never judge an age. I saw a girl the other day. I bumped into her when I was on my way. I said, little girl, let me know what brings you to the mall here all alone. She said, maybe 'cause I'm 52. I've got my whole life hating damn people like you. That's when I realized you never judge a person by the size. That's when I realized you should never guess an age with your eyes. That's when I realized you should never judge a person by the size. And that's when I realized you should never judge an age with your eyes. Never judge an age, never judge an age.
Isolation, stay away from all the subway stations. Now's the time to limit your relation. Information for your conservation and observation. Isolation, time for practicing your masturbation. Sorry that you canceled your vacation. It's not just you, it's the whole entire nation in isolation.
We believe we should confront anxiety with a clear plan to deal with its root causes.
Just before we get to questions, I'm supposed to model healthy behavior. Model healthy behavior. Nice and sunny, but a little brisk.
My constipation in isolation has really helped my toilet paper situation. Should hold up depending on the duration. I have to stay in isolation. Isolation, a conversation you should have with every single generation. The older people need a working vaccination. The younger people are afraid of this addiction.
Listen, Canada is a modest country. We know we can't solve these problems alone. We know we need to do this all together. We know it will be hard work, but we're Canadian, and we're here to help. And it's our job as your government to do justice to that compassion and to that kindness that you show to one another each and every day. We can build a better world for our kids and grandkids. This is who we are. This is what we believe in. This is Canada.
Isolation breeds agitation unless you find a way to get some inspiration. Make a creation, film a claymation, or just eat chips and talk to friends while on PlayStation. Station.
This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics, for this song, for this song. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics to the song, to the song. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. No shine, no lyrics, no lyrics. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. No shine, no lyrics, no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics for this song, for this song. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics for this song, for this song.
Maybe a rap part comes in here, I'm not sure, it's not clear. Maybe it would sound weird if we don't do a rap part. Maybe we do a verse that sounds similar to the first, so it would sound like this part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. No shine, no lyrics, no lyrics. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. This part is where the verse goes. No shine, no lyrics, no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. This song has no lyrics, has no lyrics. Give me lyrics for this song.
We have not talked about it yet on the program, but before she came to us, Cindy's ambition was to come to Jeopardy and win over $100,000. She's done that. Can she keep it going? Today she faces Jennifer and Sam. Good luck, players. Here we go.
And you're live.
Pat,
Hello.
where are you? Where are you, Pat?
Sorry, I'm behind these tulips. You can see we have these giant tulips in the frame here because these tulips are, when tulips are finished, they become so dramatic, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Those are doing that. And I thought it'd be great to leave it in the frame. Dan says it's bad for the frame. So I thought I'll have it off the top, joke around. Hey, look at me, mining in the tulips, and then I'll move it out because you know what I am. It's a professional.
Yeah, that's what everyone says about you.
You're watching There's Always Jeopardy. I'm Pat. This is Jan.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, this is Larry right here.
Larry, how are you? I saw you pulled yourself up on the coffee table today. You're doing great.
Larry's having a bad day. Or we are with Larry. He's just he just won't nap. He just won't do it.
He's ready to party.
Yeah. He's just really tired and done a lot of crying today, right, buddy? You seem to be okay now.
He looks great.
He looks great. How you doing?
Good. Today I rediscovered the simple beauty of a warm Triscuit.
Just a warm Triscuit.
Just warm a Triscuit up, pop it in your face. It's nice.
And what did you use to warm it?
The microwave.
Just heated up the Triscuit and popped it in.
Yeah.
Great.
I put some cheese on the Triscuits, and then when I pulled one of the Triscuits off the plate, the cheese came off.
Mm.
And instead of, maneuvering, putting the cheese back on, I just popped it. And I was like, you know what? This is still good.
It's not what I intended, but a warm Triscuit hit the spot.
It's a beautiful discovery. And I honestly haven't had like Triscuits with melted cheese on them probably since I was like an 8th grade babysitter. That was like
8th grade babysitter.
Pardon?
That's a pure 8th grade babysitter treat.
Yeah.
That's an after school treat for most people,
Yeah, for sure. So I did it.
Okay, chicken.
Chicken having a bad day too?
Not generally, but I guess someone's at the door. Who cares? Guys.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, someone's throwing out a lot of garbage right outside my door. So I guess everybody's just feeling it today.
Just right outside your condo door? They're just...
just like, here, dummy.
That sucks, man. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So we're at the end of the Cindy Stoll run here.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was a bit sad. Like,
yeah, it's definitely sad.
She was such a fun competitor, and I think you said it yesterday. By the way, great show yesterday. I wasn't able to be here, but you and Maggie just really nailed it. Larry too. Larry did his part, but I thought you and Maggie were super. But you always kind of were like, is she gonna win? We know she's gonna win, but how's she gonna pull this off? And today we knew she wasn't gonna win, and it was a bit sad.
It was definitely a bit sad. And then it's definitely sad at the end of the episode when Trebek comes on and says, she died already. No, she died before these ever ran, which we talked about before. But that's what I did love about this episode, which is really interesting because nobody ever gets this, right? Like Trebek didn't know it was going to be her last episode. She didn't know it was going to be her last episode. But he said right at the beginning of the episode that she told him that her goal was to make $100,000, and she did it.
Yeah.
Like everybody leaves the show feeling unfinished. You know what I mean? But she happened to tell him, and then he happened to announce it, and then whatever. She walked away with the $100,000 she wanted.
It was a huge mic drop.
Yeah.
It just felt like, because I don't know if you've read anything, Pat, not to bring the room down, but like I was reading a little bit about her, and like she was so sick. She was on painkillers. She was spiking fever so hot that makeup artists would have to run on during commercials and like touch up her makeup because she was so flushed. Like she was actually quite sick during the run of this show. And to be like, I want to win 100,000. I want 100,000. I'm done.
Yeah.
Not saying that she threw the last game or anything, but to just be like, just to chug through that. She's just like an amazing person to me.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna miss it. But the next collection seems really interesting. It's a special Alex collection where they're just showing Alex doing fun things, celebrating Alex. I'm very excited about that.
I love it.
Be different, not following a champion, but it just means that we'll get 3 different people telling us stories all the time, which would be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice. We have a very special guest on this program today.
Oh,
Larry's so pumped.
Yeah, Larry, it's not you, buddy. You're not all the time, man. You're not a very special guest.
He's the specialist guest.
He's my friend and yours. He's hosted a game show. He's watched this episode of Jeopardy. What other credits do you need?
Don't need anything else.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sandy Jobin Bevins.
Hello.
Hi, Sandy.
I was going to do my intro like this. A Cindy tribute, but I couldn't nail it. It's just that weird look away.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah. That's challenging. Perfect.
Well, I don't think nobody tops Cindy.
No, absolutely not. And that's probably the best closer you're going to have until Alex closes it. Truly.
Yeah. Bless.
What do you guys think of this episode?
I thought it was a good episode. I thought it was like, I really enjoyed this episode because I feel like I knew a lot of the answers, and that always enhances my enjoyment.
Yeah. I knew a lot of the answers too. It was good for that. In particular, I'll just go through the categories. For the first round, Here Comes Santa Claus, got all of those. So that couldn't have been an easier category.
Yeah.
But can I just say before we move on, it should have been like There Goes Santa Claus, because I don't know if you noticed this, but they were all like, in this movie, Santa died. In this movie, Santa was kidnapped. In this movie, Santa had a heart attack. Like they were all death to Santa.
Yeah, like The Year Without Santa Claus. That's not a Here Comes Santa Claus.
So bye-bye, Santa Claus.
You're right. If we ever get a writer on the show, definitely take them to task on that. We had Working Women. We had Ryman Simon. This was an interesting category because Alex was really like, don't say the G.
Yeah, in the ing suffix, don't say the G.
I know. And then Cindy one time said the G, and he was like, nope.
And he was like, I told you.
And Alex is usually so he treated Cindy so very softly the whole time. Is always very like, oh, he loved her obviously, and then he got stern with her, but that was unusual for the whole run. He was so he coddled her the whole time. He loved her.
Yeah, I thought he'd let that G slide, but he did not.
No, he forgot who he was talking to. Felt real bad after.
And then we had Where, we had Your Heart, and On Your Sleeve.
Yeah.
Very clever category naming there.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, pretty easy across the board. Double Jeopardy, we had Built Like a Greek God. 3-word book summary. It was a fun one. Blank the Blank, which is cool. Walk the Plank was one of the answers, which I liked.
Just a big pirate head, or just in general?
So, hey, no one ever says walk the plank anymore.
Well, we should bring it back.
On TV, and I liked it. Pardon my French, 1895, and the Dell Tones.
Yeah.
This was interesting when Alex went through these, because he had a lot to say about these categories. Like, he didn't just fire through them like he often does. He, built like a Greek god. He was like, oh, it's a category about me. He did a funny little French accent. He said 1895 was a very good year. Yeah. And I wanted more. I was like, why? Why was that a good year?
I find that with Alex, what's funny is when whenever he says, he names a category and then he goes, don't know what that one's about, but yet he goes in hours early and reads every single category and you know exactly what that category is about.
People aren't allowed to talk to him because he knows too much about what.
He wants to just he wants to just not really throw his writers under the bus, but just kind of nudge them in the way of a car, you know, like those little comments, like what that one's about, the kind of eye roll. It's like, clearly you didn't totally want to commit to this category.
I remember when Tony Danza had a morning talk show.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious to me. It was just a beautiful train wreck. And every time he would try to do a joke, he'd blow it. And then just throw his writers under the bus every day. Every day he'd be like, my writers thought that'd be funny.
I had a friend who was a writer on Tony Danza's show.
Oh, wow.
And he quit. And he wanted to quit when Tony wasn't there because I guess a previous writer had tried to quit and Tony was basically going to kill him or like lock him in the building. He went in really early. He quit the Tony Danza show and he was just getting his shit together and leaving. And Tony came in and he went desk to desk crawling to get around him and then just ran for the door. Like, got the hell out of there. Like, yeah, he's so scared of Tony Danza.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
It was a rough experience working for Tony.
Yeah, all of it shocking. Why did he have a talk show?
I don't remember his talk show very well. Did he tap dance very much?
He did the music.
I feel like anytime Tony Danza gets a chance to tap dance, he's taken it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just me?
Well, I'm just thinking back how often I saw him tap dance. I guess just that on that show. Does he ever, Who's the Boss? Did he tap dance?
He would tap dance all the time on Who's the Boss.
Okay. You win.
I actually rewatched a lot of the Who's the Bosses not too long ago because they would come on, I don't know, at like 4:00 or something. And it was like just the time you wanted to like just have a little sit. And Tony Danza was like good looking. I mean, he's still a good looking man, but boy, oh boy, that guy could wear a pair of jeans.
You could definitely wear jeans. I saw it. Let's go to the stories, you guys.
Yeah.
Is this something I do?
Yeah, you on this, Sandy?
Yeah, I guess I messed up.
Jennifer Johnson is a personal assistant from Chicago, but she spent about 10 years working in New Orleans on Bourbon Street as
a Bourbon Street bartender.
What's the fun thing about working on Bourbon Street?
It's never the same job day after day. It's always going to have something to offer you that's different and new.
And everybody who comes there is looking for a good time.
And they find it most of the time.
Okay, thank you. Sam Scoville is from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Sam was born without a middle finger.
That's right.
On his hand, and he has managed to have some fun with that.
Yes, my senior year of high school, I was going to a field trip to teach some elementary school kids how to write a story, basically. And my friend Frank basically, without me knowing, said, my friend Sam's going to do a magic trick for you guys. He's going to make his finger disappear.
Oh, geez.
And I did that, and I told him I don't know how to make it reappear.
You freaked out a whole bunch of kids.
It was great.
It was great?
It was fantastic.
Okay. Cindy Stoll, she's our champion, ladies and gentlemen. And as you've noticed over the past week of her appearances on Jeopardy, she's very calm, she's quiet, she's polite. And yet this young lady did something unusual on a boating trip through Europe with her mom. What did you do?
So my mom took me on a cruise of Northern Europe, and the average age of the people on the ship was probably, I don't know, like 65. And so I really didn't have anyone to hang out with. And this was like 15, 20 years ago. And so I found myself with a bunch of teenagers, and one of them was from the UK. And as we were going into Dover, he organized this kind of midnight rally on the top deck where we mooned France.
Guys get you into a lot of trouble, we know that. Okay, Sam has command of the board. Go ahead, Sam.
Let's do where for 600.
Okay, so she had a great story, obviously. I mean, just moving France for her, how she is. But how in the world do you not like do that? Like, how do you not show your missing middle finger?
Yeah, Jan's actually got something for that, which is interesting and coming up. But let's start with the first story.
Segue though, Jan, you happy with that segue for a little bit later? Okay, cool. All right, cool.
The first story, a Bourbon Street bartender.
Yeah.
How is that the whole story? You don't have a funny story about something that happened? You say something new happened every day. Tell us one of them.
Yeah, this was a real letdown. I mean, cool, that's great, but yeah, I want to hear like, and then one day these guys came in with all these beignets. Like, I want to hear something funny.
Yeah.
It'd be great. It would have been great if she had said, I had this one bottle of tequila that had a middle finger in it.
You know what I like about this woman, though? Like, two things about this whole panel is that they were like in and of themselves a Jeopardy category because their names were all alliterative.
Oh,
it was Jennifer Johnson, Sam Scoville, and Cindy Stowell.
Oh, yeah.
That would be like a great category. But I loved this woman because she just kept getting all the hip hop answers.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I love more on Jeopardy when you see like the honkiest honky just being like Chance the Rapper. Like, I feel like that would be me. Since I don't know anything but hip hop.
I think maybe working in a bar, she probably heard a lot of music. It's probably maybe where she put it together, possibly.
Or maybe she's just hardcore into hip hop.
I mean, look at her.
And rap.
Okay, the second story. I liked it. I think that's a good story. He seemed to like have the crowd with him. He was like, yeah, it's great. Jan, do you want to tell what you?
Jan.
Yeah, so I remember watching this run, and I remember this guy in particular from his story because watching this, hearing that story, I kept looking to see if like, even just if he'd like hold his buzzer up or something, I'm like, I got to see this hand. And it didn't happen the whole episode. So then sensitive, kind, loving person that I am tweets, hey, Jeopardy, if you're gonna tell a story about missing a finger, show us the finger. Yeah. And then Sam Scoville tweeted me back with a picture saying, fair enough.
Oh, that's amazing.
Dan's bringing it up right now if you want to see the missing hand.
Weird.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was born without that digit.
Great. That definitely looks like a digit that was never there. But how blue is this show? Because I'm looking in that digit, that missing digit. I don't know what the finger equivalent of a camel toe is, but he's got one.
Very good.
Yeah. We knew that when you came on, Sandy, it would be a classy show.
So you didn't tweet at him or anything. You just found it because of the Jeopardy hashtag, I guess.
I guess so.
Wow. I was like, yeah, I got that. I
guess he knew his like episode was airing that night, or his first episode was airing that night, and was probably like trolling the hashtag or something.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't be the only person to be that big a dick, though.
Well, obviously, I could have been that big a dick. I just didn't go on Twitter with it.
I don't think you were on Twitter at that time, Sandy.
No.
And okay, and then Cindy's story. So she hung out with a bunch of teenagers. But like, what's the time frame? Like, she put that cruise like 15 to 20 years before this.
Right.
So how old is she here?
I would imagine she's in her early 30s here.
No.
I got her
think so?
Late 30s.
Late 30s?
Yeah, which like she must have been older than a teenager for it to be novel that she had to hang out with a bunch of teenagers, right?
Yeah, because if she was even 35, she would have been like 20.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So then, I was just trying to figure out how strange it was that she was hanging out with teenagers. Were they a year younger than her? Were they 5 years younger than her? But doesn't seem like they were that much younger than her.
Yeah, it seemed like you found some teenagers.
But you can see her delivery here with the mooned France. You know what I mean? Like there it is again, where she's like, "I know how to hit this, son."
Yeah.
Like with the first contestant, I was like, "Why didn't she give us a story about Bourbon Street?" And Maggie was like, "Feels like she just froze up."
Which we've seen happen a lot.
Which is, we've definitely seen that. But we never see that with Cindy. She knew what she was doing every time. She like she didn't necessarily know what one he was going to read off, or maybe she did. Maybe he was extra nice and or that stuff. But she had it loaded. She had the joke loaded all the time.
Yeah. And she always ends on the punchline.
Mm-hmm.
She's great.
One thing I always wonder about is or I'm amazed by is when a contestant goes on a long run and they're on their 15th story and it's the most amazing story. And you're like, how did they save that one?
Yeah.
Like James, conversely, by episode 20, it's like, they're just the most boring stories. Then they ran out. But some of those guys hold these great stories to really long in the run. Whereas a couple off the top weren't that great. And it's like I don't know how they held on. You'd think you'd go with the headline and then you'd work the boring stuff. The James thing was just all eventually just got to repeatedly asking so when you're in Vegas now to, bookies do differently?
Yeah.
They do today.
I wonder if when you go on a long tear like that, like a Jennings or something like that too, is do people kind of come out of the woodwork and are like, hey, remember that time this happened? And they're like, yeah, I remember that.
Right. Sandy, we've had a couple of Jeopardy champions on here, Seth Wilson and then Austin Rogers. And Seth said that, because he did 12 episodes, or 13, and he said that he was stressed out about his stories the whole time. Like they kept wanting more from him, and he was like, ugh. And whereas Austin told us that he could tell stories forever. He's like, I've lived a life. I can tell. I got.
Also a bartender, though, right?
Yeah.
A bartender. Yeah.
He gets it.
Except he's a bartender that has stories.
I guess what I was trying to say is trying to burn her a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat. Guys, Jan.
Yeah. Dan.
Tony Bennett's on the phone, and I cannot get him off.
Okay.
Do you guys mind talking to him for just a second?
Yeah, that's fine. We can talk to.
Sorry, Sandy. Sometimes Tony Bennett calls us.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Tony?
Hello.
Hi, Tony.
Hey, I'm just calling to see how Susan Crow's sexy cake is coming along.
Oh, geez.
Should be almost done by now, by my calculations.
Yeah, listen, we told you yesterday we're not a bakery, man.
Well, you don't have to bake it. It's an ice cream cake, Pat.
Okay, we're not.
The mint chocolate chip ice cream cake.
Ice cream cakes, dude.
Tony, even if Pat and Maggie were to make this cake for you, an ice cream cake would never make it in transit.
I told them they just had to take a picture so I can show Susan Crow. It's the thought that counts.
Look, you should just call somewhere that makes cakes.
But I already called you.
I know, 3 times now. Just call somewhere that makes cakes.
What if you just Googled a picture of a mint ice cream cake and just sent her that picture?
And is it going to say what I want on it? No.
What is it more descriptive? Here's a sexy cake, Tony. Sorry, this is Sandy Joe Bevins.
Nice
Tony.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Tony. So what's the detail on that cake that's so specific? What do you want written on it?
Well, I said yesterday that I wanted it to say, Dear Susan Crow, I assume you have a birthday at some point in this year. This cake is for that birthday. Either a late birthday gift or an early birthday gift. But just so you know, I got it covered. And then I was thinking maybe a picture of a butt.
Well, that would make it sexy, yeah.
Yeah.
Butt on the bottom.
if we're gonna leave room for a butt, I'm not making this cake, but if I were, and I were gonna leave room for the butt,
Very confusing.
Make the writing very small. There's a lot of words there.
Well, Susan Crowe has 20/20 vision, so it's not a problem.
Okay, I didn't see that coming.
Right.
If I'm being honest, I really appreciate if you just make this cake. Stop giving me a hard time. I'm 93. And here's the thing. It's been chaos at the house, and I just need a break. I need someone to throw me a bone in the form of an ice cream cake.
Chaos? Why?
Here's the thing. I told you last time my cats were peeing all over the plants.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out Susan Crowe's been hiding all sorts of rodents all over the house.
Like live ones or
Ordering
dead ones?
online. Hamsters, gerbils, rats, mice, you name it.
And just hiding them.
Having them live together in some sort of a commune in a spare room.
Why?
I don't know. She got into these videos where she was watching hamsters eat burritos in tiny houses, and I guess she got obsessed and she thought she could make an entire world of these things. And turns out there's a lot of work that these people put into these videos, and they don't just do that.
You can't just leave a burrito in a room.
You can't just leave a fork and knife and a burrito on a plate in a room. They'll eat the plate. They'll eat the table. They're friggin' insane.
So you feel a cake is going to smooth all of this over?
Can't hurt.
You can't argue with that logic.
Never heard of someone getting mad at an ice cream cake.
Pat's mad.
That's true, and I'm never been more surprised in my life. 93 years.
Well, we can't help you, Tony. I'm sorry. Again, you should call somewhere that makes cakes, or maybe just forget it if you have no idea when her birthday is.
All right. Well, if you change your mind, you got my number.
I don't think we do, but thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Tony.
Nice meeting you, buddy.
Nice meeting you too, Tony.
Keep up the good work.
Okay. Wow, does that
really,
happen?
yeah, like he really gets something in his mind and just has a hard time letting go of it.
Yeah, clearly.
I think he even lives near a Dairy Queen.
Oh, maybe get his driver to go pick up a cake. I mean, bag full of ice cream sandwiches too. That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, the dilly bar.
I'm kind of thinking about making an ice cream cake. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
What, Jan? You can make ice cream cakes?
Oh yeah, it's. Don't tell Tony Bennett this, but it's not actually that hard.
But now I don't know.
Too late. I stayed on the line.
No.
It's like someone's making Tony Bennett's wife's ice cream cake.
I guess I'm on the hook now.
Jan, I hope you wrote down all those things he wants you to say on there.
I got Tony'd.
You got Tony. You got to write a lot of stuff on top.
Damn it.
So how do you do it? How do you you have to build some sort of frame for it?
No, if it just depends on what you want. So what I might do is I might start with a cookie crumb crust, like let's say an Oreo crust. Then I would get some mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Right.
I would bring it to room temperature, and then I would probably mix it. If I wanted to do this fast, I would mix it with some Cool Whip.
Okay.
So I would mix it with Cool Whip so it was very soft and very spreadable. Then I would put a layer of that on top of the cooled crust, then maybe a layer of fudge, then a layer of ice cream, and then maybe some like cookie crummy stuff on top. And then maybe I would, if I really wanted to get fancy, I would like pipe some whipped cream on top. I'd put it all in the freezer in a springform pan. Then once it was hard, you unleash the pan and then the thing remains intact.
And then
I don't know if I could make it look like a butt though.
Well, you just put your butt in it. Just be like, there you go, Tony.
Less appetizing, but yeah.
He doesn't care. He wants to get a cake in front of his wife.
Great. We did it. We did that episode, and
but did you get Final Jeopardy, Pat?
Oh, Final Jeopardy! I did not. You?
Yeah, me either. No, it was geography, and I hate geography.
It was challenging.
Did you get it, Sandy?
Was that the? Just make sure I'm right. This the St. James? Was that the first episode?
No, this one was. It was little countries. What's the closest country to America that drives on the left side?
Oh, yeah. I
It was
didn't know.
the Bahamas.
The Bahamas. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Because he's Bahamas, Jamaica. He crossed out a bunch. I got confused with her first episode because her first episode was also geography. It was St. James, and it was in Cuba and a Latin American country in Santiago. That was a hard one.
That was hard.
Santiago is St. James in Spanish. Like, whoa, that's not an easy one, like a San Juan or something like that. That was hard.
Yeah, I guess Iago means James.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get that one at all.
But do you guys?
This one. And what was interesting is that when because I've answered Bahamas randomly a lot over the last couple of weeks, and then I was not getting the answer, and then Maggie was like, "Oh, do you think it's Bahamas, like you always say?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then they said Bahamas, and I was like, "Wow."
Can I just? Do you mind if I talk about a more recent episode for a moment? Is that okay? Yeah. Just the other night when it was baseball records, it was like Major League Baseball single season records, and I was like, they were just looking at it and avoiding it the whole way. And every time Kylie and I play Jeopardy every night, when they were revealing the Final Jeopardy category, I always like scream baseball, baseball, and it won't come up. So I finally get one, and they just avoid it all the way. They don't want to touch it at all, and I'm just dying. I was dying. They didn't finish it. They didn't finish the category. I was just like, come on, you finally got baseball.
We talk about that a lot. I will speak for you, Pat. I know, but I know I hate it when you see things like Broadway musicals, and then you see things like ancient Aztec kings, geography, parking spots, and you're like, what? Why aren't just... And they don't go to your category. I think it's the most frustrating.
It's so painful. Or when someone's so slow and you know they're not going to clear the board because of one slowpoke who looks at all the categories and then goes back, and you're just like, come on, just pick.
Yeah, quit being a dud. Oh, we're getting a call for a tomato sauce update, Pat.
Oh yeah, I think we're in the same spot. We have part of a jar. I was just looking at this morning. We have 2 partial jars in the fridge. A sweet basil.
One is nasty basil.
Sweet basil and the classic nasty basil. And we have 4 more jars. So we have 4 and 2 parts jars. Sandy, one of my grocery orders I got, I accidentally got 8 jars of tomato sauce when I was supposed to get 3. And so I've just been giving updates on where we are with the tomato sauce. We're getting through it slowly. Last night we discussed what would happen to the nasty basil, which is that Maggie just won't, she'll just put something else on her pasta that day, and I'll finish out that basil jar because she can't stand it.
I gotta say though, Pat, I think that gives you a dad badge.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I don't know what it was like in your guys' houses, but in my house, if there was something that nobody wanted to eat, it was for sure on my dad's plate.
Yeah. So in a similar way, my dad, by today would have been my dad's 81st birthday, by the way.
Oh, bless. Happy birthday. Yeah.
Which so I've been remembering all these things, little things. And so what my dad would do, my dad liked a lot of hot sauces. And what he would do is he'd pick up, unbeknownst to anyone else, he'd get, when the ketchup was near the bottom, like the little Heinz container, he would load it up with his own hot sauce, put a little water in it, shake it up, put it back in the kitchen, thinking that if you put a little water on it, it'll just essentially just taste like ketchup. Completely wrong. It was really hot, unexpected on a hot dog when you're a kid, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, what is this? My dad would always go, it's cowboy ketchup.
And you're just crying over a ruined hot dog.
It's so gross. It was so gross.
I can get another one of these. Mom just made enough for all of us.
Maggie said that she likes your sweatshirt, Jan.
Oh, thanks. I put the dog on it myself.
Really?
Yeah, it's a sweater, and it was very plain, and I got it, and I was like, why did I buy this? And then I was like, I'll just put a dog on it. And
10 out of 10, Jan. That looks really great.
Thank you. I have a few extra dogs if you need one.
I do.
She needs it.
Okay. I'll get your mailing address and then I'll pop one in the mail.
She just checked really quickly and she needs it.
Yeah, I do.
Sandy, when we have you here, you hosted a game show.
Yeah. I guess I've technically hosted 2 game shows that have gone beyond a pilot. It's called Deal With It. Deal With It was in a restaurant, and we had people with an earbud doing more and more crazy things in the restaurant. And then the more they did that we told them to do, the more money they'd win, without telling their friends that they were on the show. And then more recently, my wife Kylie Evans, and I host Just Like Mom and Dad, which is still going, but not canceled, but like on hold because of everything that's going on. But yeah, I've done a couple seasons of Just Like Mom and Dad, and hoping to do some more of that.
That's cool. And did that change your Jeopardy watching experience at all? Like knowing a little more about what Trebek's going through?
Well, what was really cool was, yes, but what was really cool was that they advertised Just Like Mom and Dad during Jeopardy. So they would always be like, this weekend, watch Just Like Mom and Dad. And then when they did all the different shows from the channel, on the montage shot at the end, it was like us standing with Trebek, which was like amazing. And with Sajak and Vanna White. So that was pretty cool to be on the same montage photoshopped picture for the network. Jan, you actually were right away like, hey, you're on this. Like,
yeah, I immediately texted Sandy.
Oh yeah. But I would say, Pat, like from the interview part, Trebek, no one does a worse interview with, or a best interview with contestants than Alex. So you definitely have that in your head, not to like, especially with a kid, you ask a kid on Just Like Mom and Dad, like, what do you like to do for a living or like to do for fun? The kid's like, I like baseball. You don't want to be, that's great. Anyway, you don't want to just slough a kid off like Trebek can do with adults. So you got to be a little more gentle with those kids, even if the kid tells the most boring story. You still want to do that. But one thing I learned from him though is how good he is at just like the look to camera. If it's like a weird story, he's really great at that. And so if you got a weird story, I try to look for that little look to camera, like, whoa, or like, not going to touch that one or whatever, He loves that look.
He loves that look.
Now, Sandy, you and your lovely wife, Kylie, you watch Jeopardy every night, like for cocktail hour.
Yeah, we have Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy every night at 7. It's called Cocktail Hour. So a cocktail hour, it goes on, we pour a drink, and usually we do that and then we have dinner after, but we always catch it every night. The only time we kind of will fudge it a bit if it's a repeat, we might make dinner while the repeat's airing in the background.
And now during this, all our indoor time, you're doing a sports trivia show on Instagram?
Yeah.
I get all the answers every time. I want you to know that.
Yeah, that's right. Sports Genius. So I've been launching that. I do 5 of those a week and then put them out. They're like 2-minute episodes. They're 3 questions each episode. Yeah, Kylie shoots that and we put it out every week. But it's a pretty fun one because I also have like the thinking music part where I put a baseball card down and try to do like tricky like photography on it. And I'm nowhere near as technically skilled as like Dan is for sure. Not even
Dan,
close,
our producer.
Yeah. Part of the charm of it. But that's totally pretty hardcore sports. So it's a pretty select audience.
Yeah, I love it. And I have to say, I wish he'd make the questions a bit harder.
Oh, right. Okay. I know they're just way too easy for you.
Sports Genius.
That's great. Sports Genius. And that's just you asking questions that anybody can answer, or do you have a contestant on that?
No, yeah, right. It's so it's on my Instagram, the Sandy J. Bevins Instagram, and it's one category. So say a category is like hot streaks, and you have a rookie level question, a pro level question, and an all-star, and then they can answer. And I ask people to give me, how good did you do? Are the questions too hard? Try to get a reading of that. And then this week we're going to do like a week of cities. People requested, do you want all about Dallas sports? Do you all want about Toronto sports? We're going to do that this week. But that's it. Yeah. And then, I may eventually go on and do it live on Instagram live or something like that to get people actually answering questions in the moment. I had a few requests for that too, but right now I'm just trying to have something to do.
Yeah. We know about that. Welcome to something to do.
But yeah, no, it's I don't have a baby on the show. I don't have Tony Bennett. I don't have any tomato sauce updates, so I'm still working on getting something special going on there.
Yeah. I mean, people really like to hear about tomato sauce. I don't know if you want to put that in.
Yeah.
I think people miss it when we don't talk about it.
Ballparks have served tomato sauce. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could do a whole ballpark food thing like they did on Jeopardy that one time.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was great. I really like that one. I got a lot of those ones. Got a lot of those answers. But I mean, like, by the way, Larry in the Larry Bird jersey is my favorite Larry so far. Oh, I gave that 3 points. You'll notice on your Facebook. Appropriate 3 points. I'll tell you, just because I bore people with sports stories, a great Larry Bird sports story was he went to the first ever 3-point competition at the NBA All-Star Game. Did the first ever 3-point competition. A lot of great shooters in that, obviously. And Larry Bird famously walked into the locker room while everyone's getting ready, and he just said, "Hey, who's going to get second?" And then he went out and killed them. He absolutely destroyed them. So
that's awesome.
Larry had some
confidence.
Yeah.
He's such a funny, like, sports hero to me because he's got that potato face. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's from French Lick, Indiana, and his nickname is the Hick from French Lick. So, I mean, really, he's quite opposite of a flashy NBA guy. That's for sure.
You guys watching The Last Dance on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I already know all that stuff, so.
Yeah, you don't need to know.
Yeah, you don't really
boring.
Well, I guess we should wrap it up here today. Thanks so much for joining us, Sandy.
This has been great. I love
it. This is the end of the Cindy Stoll collection, as I said. We're going to be taking a little break on There's Always Jeopardy, but we'll be back soon with the special Alex collection.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thanks. It was good to see Dan in there, and Pat, Jan, of course, Larry, Maggie. Thanks for everybody. Chicken in the background. I mean, everyone, Tony Bennett, everyone made this happen.
This is like Sandy's Saturday Night Live. Mom and Dad, kids, what are you still doing up? Larry.
Yeah. Hours of that. I'll take it.
It's the content I crave.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everybody, and thanks for watching. This is There's Always Jeopardy.
Hi, I'm Tony Bennett. My wife Susan knows all the answers when we watch, but I can't get her to be a contestant, so I'm going to go on Jeopardy by giving you a few clues about my fabulous first 90 years.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. There's Always Jeopardy. Super fun to have you guys, and I hope you join us for our last season or the last one on Netflix. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, maybe a week, who knows. But look for that. And also on Wednesday, please tune into the DG special. We have a great one with Scott Thompson, Paul Bellini, Holly Prazoff, Joe Wengert, Ron Hawkins, Chris Locke, Aisha Alpha. It's packed. It's stacked. It's going to be fun. Come on down. Thanks a lot. See you later. Whoa. I guess it's over, man. Cool. I guess the stream stopped or whatever. Just kidding. Bye.